Gentleman's time has expired. The gentlewoman from Texas, Ms. Johnson, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In February of 2021, Texas was hit with our biggest winter storm to date, killing over 240 Texans. Texans were left without power, busted pipes, drinkable water, and freezing to death, not to mention the millions of property damage all across our state. Throughout this disaster, support from FEMA was critical in saving the lives across North Texas communities. Simply put, without FEMA, this disaster would have been 10 times worse. And look, not all of us could flee to Cancun. But abandoning FEMA now would mean abandoning Texas and would serve to set up our state for even worse disasters in the future. FEMA's rapid response provided Texans with 70,000 gallons of gasoline, 5 million liters of water, 60 generators, and helped over 650 households retain power. These resources proved to be invaluable and likely saved thousands of Texans from the worst-case scenario. We all remember back in 2017 when Texas was destroyed by Hurricane Harvey. 3,500 FEMA employees, along with 31,000 members of the National Guard, were deployed to provide assistance to our Gulf Coast. Almost 800,000 homes had at least 18 inches of water inside, and 24 hospitals were evacuated. Within 30 days of Hurricane Harvey, over 270,000 households were provided with $1.5 billion from FEMA that covered temporary housing, advancement pay for flood insurance, and repairs to keep their homes safe. All of this was approved by President Trump. We know that climate change is an escalating threat to our homeland security, and we would be lying to ourselves if we said a catastrophe like this is not on the rise and will not ever happen again. Last May, tornadoes tore through North Texas, killing 7 people, including 3 children, and injuring over 100 of my neighboring residents. FEMA stepped in and provided displacement and home repair assistance at a very critical time. President Trump's decision to fire over 200 FEMA employees last month was not only irresponsible, but will overwhelm current employees who are already burnt out, and most importantly, it will endanger the lives of Texans and many people throughout this entire country. I'm all for cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, but we can't lose sight of the humanity, the time of crisis needs that FEMA provides. Elon Musk may not think that saving lives is an efficient use of federal dollars, but I know that it is, and I know that my neighbors would agree with me. At this very moment, the people of North Carolina, who are just now starting to get on their feet from the catastrophic floods last year, are currently on fire. Parts of California were just burned to the ground, and my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have the audacity to support the president's unconstitutional behavior and allow him to dismantle this important federal agency. And just last night, the Dallas area was hit by yet another round of tornadoes, and the damage is now still being calculated. FEMA is not the end-all and be-all, but with an unreliable grid in Texas and natural disasters becoming more frequent, Americans cannot afford to lose the life-saving services that FEMA provides. Mr. Manning, how can federal, state, local governments effectively prepare for and respond to the growing climate threats without FEMA support, without federal support? And what consequences will these cuts have on underserved communities?
Thank you for that question. The inability, or at least the change in policy to disincentivize or even prohibit the consideration of climate change will have an incredibly detrimental effect on preparedness across the country. It is changing the complexion of hazards in America. There are more severe storms, more severe impacts than we have seen historically. If we only plan forward based on what we've experienced historically, we will be drastically under-preparing going forward, and people will be in danger and may lose lives. Texas has a very strong emergency management system, but even Texas needs the assistance of FEMA over and over again. A strong collaborative partnership between FEMA and the states is how we move America forward and how we assure that our most vulnerable communities have the protection that they need.
Thank you so much for your answer. I believe I'm out of time, and I yield back.
The gentlewoman's time has expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Evans, for 5